Creating a clone version of Brawl Stars. Of course, we are not going to exactly create the same clone of the Brawl Star game, but we are going to understand the very basic concept of the game, and we are going to just understand the concept, and we are going to create a simple game which resembles the Brawl Star. And then what would be the content of this course? Again, we are going to understand the concept of the game at first, and then we are going to have some UI part side of work. We are going to learn the Photon engine, which is the new thing. Photon engine is basically a plugin which would be used by us to create a multiplayer game in Unity. It lends the power to Unity to create a multiplayer game, and then we are going to have some player movement synchronization, and of course we would be creating some scripts like player controller script, and we would be creating a lobby controller script, but this all I have not included in this section. But yeah, there are of course videos included in this section to understand them, but yes, of course I have not included them in the content, so because those are some basic things. So the next thing is, this is how your game is going to look like, and this is a sample scene once you have been connected to the game, and once you have been inside of the game, you are going to you are going to have a scene built something like this. And of course there is an post processing effect power again, but yeah, I have not included this in the content, but yeah, we have got videos in this section for them, so just good luck. Select our basic assets. So first of all, what we need to create a multiplayer game is the Photon engine plugin. So since we have already downloaded the Photon plugin, what you have to do is the next package which we need to install into our project is just Pro Builder. So click over onto this window, and inside of the window, click over this package manager. So let it get some time to load. Till then, just click on this asset store as well. So, okay, it is not done. Okay, cool. So now find this Pro Builder, and after finding that Pro Builder, you just need to hit this install button. It might take some time to install. Until then, what you have to do is go into the asset store. Okay, it is installing. We won't be able to use asset store. Cool. So till then, let's understand what Pro Builder does. Pro Builder is actually a package created by the Unity technology for us, so that you could be able to create some basic mesh using this Pro Builder. So suppose you want to create a mesh inside of you create a mesh, like you want to create a stair. So stair could be created using some cubes inside of the Unity, but still that won't be that fast, that won't be that time efficient, like if you create those stairs in Blender or any other asset creation tool, you could be doing it very fast. But since you have to go into the Blender, and then like that is to open another application and create that simple mesh, you can actually what you can actually do is you can just develop that simple mesh inside the Unity as well. So this is nothing but a pro builder, guys. So now just maximize the asset store, and let's find our soldier. Okay, so I have just written a soldier here. I'm just searching it, and then the pricing would be free assets, and then yeah, there is no restriction for you to just get this free one, but you could actually buy any one of those paid one as well. No need to worry about it, you could do that. This is, since it is not a proper game, it is just for tutorial basis, I use free assets, guys. So this is the asset which we are going to use, which is Toon Soldier WW2, which is World War II demo, and it is created by the Polygon Blacksmith. I would hit the download button, and it is soon going to just download this asset for me. So just import this asset, and as you can see, it is importing the asset for us. So basically that's it, guys. These are the only these are the only packages we need to install into our Unity system. So that's it, guys. So in the next lecture we are going to uh, understand the basic concept of our game, guys. So stay tuned. take you to the basic concept of our game. So what would be the basic concept of our game? Actually guys, to create a game like Brawl Stars, you need to uh, understand some basic concepts, which is when a player is starting off the game, he is going to see a main menu. After seeing the main menu, player is going to, in the Brawl Star game, what happens is player just hits the play button, but we are not directly going to find the random online player who is currently available, because in the Brawl Star what happens is when we hit the play button, we are going to find some random players, but instead we are going to combine some another tool, which some other technique, which is like when you hit the play button, you are going to the game is going to get you to the another menu which says that create room or find room. So in the create room and find room button, what would be the difference between them? If you hit the create button room, you are going to create another room for yourself. You are going to create a new room with a new name, with a new ID over the server, and then that room is going to be public or private according to your priorities, guys. So when you hit it public, you would be able to find that created room inside if the other player is clicking the find room button. And if the other player clicks the find room button, he or she is going to get your room's name which has been created. And once that room is being displayed over to the in the find room menu, what the player has to do is just simply click on that room name, and then that player is immediately going to join your game, guys. So this is the basic concept which we are going to develop today, so that you could get a proper understanding of how these games work, how you create a room. But now comes the question about the player controller, guys. So what is going to happen when you do such things? There is no use if you don't use it properly. You don't create a game properly, guys, right guys? So what we are basically going to do is we are going to create a game, uh, a game in which a player would be able to move forward, backward. It would be able to just target enemies, and that's it, guys. That is the main fundamental concept of our game. It is going to shoot as well. The player is going to shoot bullets, guys. So that bullet, if the bullet is hit, is got just touches the target or is been hit, or if the other player over the server has been hit by that bullet, he or she that player's health is going to get low, that player's health is going to decrease, guys. So this is what we are going to create. So this won't, so just don't expect that we are just directly cloning that battle royale game, but instead we are going to create something like that, or you can say we are just going to create a basic understanding, or we are going to understand how this battle royale games are being actually created, guys. So once you have got the fundamentals cleared, you would be able to create that Brawl Star duplicate game. Just trust me, guys, and you would be king in it. So basically that's it. And now let's just set up a basic level for our game. So here, as you can see, I am using this Pro Builder. So what you have to basically do is just click on this tool, Pro Builder, and then hit this Pro Builder window, and then just drag it over here. And now what you have to do is, I've already created a cube. So with that said, guys, you need to create we need to currently create a border for our game. So actually you could do tons of things using this what we can say, yep, this Pro Builder. So I am not going to take you to the introduction to the Pro Builder. You have got several documentation, several videos over it online, so you could just take a look over it and have a reference. And I am not actually a game okay, you can say a level designer. So I'm just a normal programmer who programs the game and just plays. So I won't be taking you to the deep understanding of this Pro Builder, but rather I could get you do something using it. Okay, what you can do is just add a tool. We need to add a border, right guys? So what you have to do is create a cube, and here what we are going to do is, instead of making it this big, basically what you have to do is, okay, make it to, I guess on x-axis should be, it's fine, on the z it should be 1, and the y it should be 4. So this is it. Now hit the build button and Pro Builder is going to build it for us. Now what you have to do is just drag it over here and snap it. Now we have snapped this level, this cube. Now just duplicate this cube again and take it right there, insert it this corner, and again we are going to snap it using the V button. And again we need to just create another cube, rotate it, go to the inspector, rotate it over the y-axis to 90 degrees. And okay, the size is a bit small, so what you could basically do is increase it. Okay, great. So as you can see, this is increasing the scale of the cube in only one axis. So this is quite this would be quite handy, guys. So what you have to do is we need to scale our object over the z-axis. So it is the z-axis for it is different because we are using we are seeing the global axis. So what you have to do is click over here so that we could take a look over the local axis. So local axis we need to make it 2, or 2 is quite big, so let's make it 1.5, and 1.5 is also too big, so make it 1.2. okay, let's first just snap it over here, and then let's increase the size to, I guess. So as you can see, I just fast forwarded the video, I just cut the scene, and I have just created this cube. And then as you can see, I have created one more stair. So what you have to do is just hit the new stair, and here you have to select stair, and as you can see, a stair has been created already for me. Just drag it over here, and if you increase the steps, it is going to increase or decrease the step, this thing. Build sides, so it is going to build sides or not, but I want a side so that player don't see any glitches. And then you could just also mirror it, as you can see, guys, and you can increase the stair width. So this could be good if I make another as small. And for more thing, guys, the inner radius, as you can see, you can increase or decrease it, and the stair height you can increase or decrease it as well. So this is what, and just hit the build button, so you would be able to create another stair for yourself. Okay, so today we are going to create a basic player controller script. So to do that, what you have to do is bring us a player inside of this game. Just find the player which is inside of this toon demo, and first of all you need to upgrade the material so that the player don't look pink. Upgrade it into the universal render pipeline, and then just drag in the player. So as you can see, this is our player character. It is looking quite good. The thing is why you and I am having different scene is because I have enabled this post processing, which is here the global volume. So you could do that as well, and I have taught you in the previous lecture, so no need to worry about it. So now the next thing which we need to do is just rename our player from toon to player_1. And with that said, what you have to do, guys, is just save this scene. And one more thing which I am getting a problem with is the clipping is not so I went just disabling the clipping. So as you can see the difference, the camera is no longer clipping the object for me. So now what you have to do is, since it is done, now you need to create an animator. So here we are going to create an animator, so player_AC, and double click on the animator. Just create a state. Okay, name it as idle, and go inside of the animations. So as you can see, idle, run, shoot, and idle. So there are two idle, I guess. Okay, it's a combat idle, it's a guard idle. So what we need is this combat idle. So take over here and drag this infantry combat idle here. Then we are going to create one more, which says that run. So name the idle state as run, and then we are going to have here a boolean parameter which is run, and we are again going to have one more parameter which is attack. So now what you have to do is, here you need to just uncheck this has exit time, and then make it run as true. And for the return, what you have to do is just uncheck this and have unread to false. So with that said, guys, what you have to do is you need to create an animation. You need to just drag in the animation here again. So I'm dragging this run, and you have to create another state which is going to be the attack, or you can say shoot. Okay, it's shooting, right, guys? So I just okay, cool. So now just create a transition, make transition for this animation as well. And now we need to do one thing is just go over here, has exit time off. Here is going to be attack true, and has exit time and attack is going to be false. So now with that said guys, you need to drag in an animation. So this is going to be the animation for our game, or for our player, sorry. And with that said guys, we have just developed our player animator. So now what you have to do is go back over to here and drag this animator right there. So now go into the scripts folder and create a script for our player, which is going to be player controller. So with that said guys, just double click on the player controller and let's get started. So basically we are not going to create this game for the mobile, but rather we are going to make it for the PC. So what we are going to do is, let me check which, okay, I have just already hit it to the Android, but yeah, this is just for the understanding purpose how this work. So we are just going to use this AWASD keys for moving a character, and mouse for rotating our character, and the left click for shooting. So that's it guys. So just go over here and inside of the player controller script, just type in here a parameter for speed, and it is going to be a float. So default value could be 0. And then come into the update function. One thing which we need to do is we need to add photon dot pun, because we would be using those RPC functions in the future. So from mono behavior you need to make it to mono behavior pun callbacks, and we are ready to go. We are not going to use it right now, but it is for the future, for the further, because we are going to just use it in the future, so no need to worry about it. So now in the update function, what you have to do is create a float hori, name it in equals to input dot get axis is going to be horizontal, and again we are going to create a float which is going to be word. Okay, input dot get axis, it's going to be, I guess, vertical, and with that said we are good to go. So now what we want is, we want our player character to move in that directions. So what you are basically going to do is, we are only going to use the transform dot, I guess, translate. Let's try it out, and we are going to create a new vector inside of it, which is going to be on the y-axis. We want our player to go to 0th position, and here is going to be horizontal, here is going to be word, and then multiplying it with more speed. I don't think this code would run, but let's see if it is running fine. So go back to the player, okay, to the scene, and one last thing which we need to do is, okay, we need to set up our camera inside of our player. So just take this camera and drag it inside of the player and bring the to 0, and then drag it there, right there. Okay, rotate it. Okay, just rotate it a bit, drag it again in the upper direction, and just save and click. Okay, it is looking cool. Okay, lighting is off, I guess, so just auto generate the lights so that there won't be any yellow effect. And one last thing which remains is, we need to add a player controller script to our player, and we hit the add component and player controller. I have just added it. I am going to make my speed as 6, and now if we go over here and it is moving guys. So as you can see, this is quite a fast. So player is moving just insanely fast. What you could actually do is go back here and again multiply it using time dot delta time. So with that said guys, just go back to the editor again and hit this play button. And now as you can see, it is moving at a perfect speed. So this is looking good. So of course guys, I just forgot to tell you, if you want your player to just go over to the stairs, you need to add a rigid body to your player, or instead of adding a rigid body, you could actually get in a character controller to your player, attach a character controller to your player, and it all depends upon you which you want to use. I actually like to use a simple translate function, so I just use this. That's it guys. Now what you have to do is just hit this play button again. I don't want our stairs to just get inside of our player. And one more thing which we need to do is just go back over to the player and add a rigid body, guys, so that player is able to collide between the walls and all. So now next thing which we need to do is we need to restrict our constraints on each of the directions, and then just go back again, hit the play button, and now our player is going to just collide with everything. First, okay, it's not colliding again, so what could be the possible reason? Yeah, of course, the reason behind it is we have not add any kind of collider to our player. So let's add a box collider and drag it up and take it right there. So our box collider is ready to use. Now hit the play button and you would observe some collision. As you can see, okay, again it is not a colliding. I don't know why. Is this box okay? It's having a mesh collider. Make it convex. Okay, make all of this cube max collider convex, and let's try to see if the collision is working now. Okay, it's not working because I guess we have just done this constraints off, so this could be the possible reason. So now if we just hit the play button and check if it is working, collisions, or as you can see, collision is working now fine. So since we constrained our movement on the freezer position on the x and y z direction, it was not colliding with the walls. So now we have just removed the constraint, so it is able to collide. So as you can see, the collision is not quite good. It is a jerky, it is going up and up and up down. So what you can do is to remove that type of collision. Instead of using the update function, you could use possibly this fixed update. So when to use update and when to use fixed update? So whenever there is a physics used in our game, you can use the fixed update function, and if there is no kind of physics used, then you have to use the update function. So now if you go back to the player, okay, Unity editor, and hit the play button, as you can see the jerkiness is gone. So as you can see, the player is running smoothly and looking over to each other smoothly. So the next thing which we need to do right now is we need our player to rotate. So first of all, we are not going to have this type of first person shooting kind of look of our camera. We are actually going to view our player from the top. So this is going to be our current angle. We want to see our player in, so yes, so drag it above the player and rotate it. Instead of using this simple camera, you could actually use a cine machine. There is no restriction. You can try cine machine and make it possible, because it would make things easier and much smoother. So I definitely suggest you to use cine machine, but I am not using it cine machine right now. So as you can see, I have set my player up, and now if I hit the play button, you could be able to see the player is running full smoothly, guys. So that's it, guys. Now what you have to do is go back to the script. You need to add some more script. Now we are going to add a mouse functionality. So now that we have set it up our player, the next thing which we need to do is go back to the editor, and okay, the thing is which we need to do is we need to add that animator. So what you have to do is type in here, so type in here a parameter, feed a parameter over here which is going to be animator, and in the start we are going to get an access to our animator, but we are only going to get an access to our perimeter from this game object. So game object dot is going to be get component, it is going to be animator. Okay, cool. So now what we are going to do is we are going to run this script. So now here we are going to make it animator dot set pool, which is going to be run true. The next thing which we are going to do is if okay, hori greater than 0 and were greater than 0, then we are going to get inside of this loop else animator dot set pool run as false. So that's it, guys. Go back to the editor and you would be able to see the animation is running fine. So now if we hit the play button, okay, it's not running again. Don't know the position. Okay, cool. So this is going to be R. Okay, now we hit the play button and you could observe those animations are running fine, as you can see. Okay, it's not running in this negative directions. So what you could possibly do is here again R less than 0 or var less than 0. So instead of typing this much script, what you can do is basically create another variable of type vector3, name it as raw direction, or you could just directly make it direction, and here you are going to type in new vector3, which is going to be hurry, 0, var, and remove this from here. Instead just type in direction, and we are basically going to check this whether it is a 0 vector or not, and if it is not a 0 vector, then we are going to go inside of the script not equal to vector3 dot 0. So yep, this is going to work fine. Now go back to the editor, hit the play button, and you could possibly see that animation is working in all of this direction. So we are running good. And the next thing which you could do for the rotation purpose is you could add a rotation here. So what you can do is basically transform dot rotation equals to quaternion dot look rotation, which is going to be our direction. So okay, it's not a string. Okay, so now hit the save button and go back to the editor, and now you would observe some changes. So as you can see, it is rotating with our input. So yes guys, so input is for the rotation is working fine. So as you could see, the rotation, it is running good. Since the animation is not perfect, it is not going to look that good, but yes, you have set it a rotation, but I am not going to use this kind of rotation. I am just going to remove this because it's looking super funny. You could set up rotation for yourself, but okay, let's forget it and let's just add rotation. So let's create a player rotation. For that you need to create another variable, and since we are going to take the input from the user, the mouse sensitivity, we need to serialize the field. And now what we are going to do is we are going to take a mouse input over the x-axis so that we could rotate our player on the y-axis. So with that, what we are going to do is create a variable of type float and get access. Okay, it is going to be mousa comma space. So this is it, and now what you have to do is you need to create or directly write transform dot rotate, which is going to be vector3 dot up, multiply by time, it's time dot delta time, and here we need to do one more thing, which is we are going to multiply this input by mouse sensitivity multiply by okay, that's it. So now what you have to do is just save the script and go back to the editor, and here let it take some time to load and save the script, and now you would be able to see the rotation. Okay, it's not working, there's no other reason. Let's take a look. Okay, mouse sensitivity is 100. So what could be the possible reason? Because we are multiplying okay, we are only multiplying it with using the time per delta time. This is not going to work. Actually we need to multiply it using the mouse x, and then what you have to do is just multiply here time dot delta time, so it does directly it don't directly snaps over to that rotation, but rather goes there smoothly. So now if we hit the play button, and you are going to see the rotation. If you move your mouse on the x-axis, or you can say you are moving your mouse horizontally, you are going to observe those rotation guys. So as you can see, the rotation is working fine, And okay, there are certain problems using our player. So what could be that problem? So basically just take a look over our player and it should be local. So the last thing which we need to do is we need to remove all of these constraints. So now hit the play button and you won't be able to see any other problems. So as you can see, it's not working fine. I don't know why. Okay, cool. The problem was because of this, guys, because we were moving in the direction, but rather let's make it vector 3 dot forward. And now if we go back to the editor and if we hit the play button, you are going to observe some change. As you can see, once we rotate, and it is running in the forward direction all the time. If we hit the back mouse button, if we hit the S key, then also it is moving forward. So we need to change that thing. So to do that, what you have to do is go back to the script, and here what we are going to do is remove this direction. And the thing which we need to do is for forward and backward, right guys? So what you have to do is basically multiply this using your hurry, I guess. Oh no, word. So multiply it using word and then go back to the editor. Okay, that has got some compile errors, so it is because of the direction. Okay, just don't remove the direction. Okay, we actually need that direction for our animation, guys. So make it direction. Here we're going to create another, sorry for the trouble, I just forgot about that. Okay, go back to the editor. I hit the play button, and as you can see it is working fine. And now if I hit the ASCII, it is moving backward, it is moving forward again. So our game is running smooth. And now again hit go back to the script. One more thing which we need to do is we also need our player to move in different directions as well, which is left and right. Dot type in right, multiply it by time dot at the time, multiply it by move speed, and multiply it with hurry, and then go save the script and go back to the editor. Okay, I don't know, for some reason I have just go back to the editor, hit the play button, and you are going to observe the changes because you are now able to move on the left and right direction as well. So with that said, guys, we have completed our player controller script. A basic design of our main menu, but with the basic design we are going to add some core functionality for our main menu as well, which is the lobby. So we need to create two functions, which is the lobby controller and the room button. So with that said, what you have to do is let's take a look over the lobby controller. So just you need to include all of these namespaces. I am going to make sure that I am providing you this code so that you could be able to understand this code as well. So now what you have to do is instead of mono behavior, you are going to type in mono behavior pun callback. So what it happens is this is a class created by the Photon Engine plugin. So this class also has got some pun functionalities, functions as well with the mono behavior functions. So you could be able to use all of those functions which are there present in the mono behavior as well. So this is very handy. And then comes the lobby controller. We have created a singleton, which is a lobby controller, so that we can to make sure that there is only single instance of this lobby controller game object. So now what you have to do is next is there is a game object room listing prefab. So when we are going to use this room listing prefab, I'm going to explain it to you later. The rooms panel, connecting button, battle button, room size tags, all of this I am going to explain you in the later when we go through our this script. So now in the awake function we have created LC this. So what is an awake function? Awake function is actually a function which is actually running which runs once before the start functions. So before the start function, it is going to run the awake function. The unit is going to run the awake function, and in this awake function, we are creating a singleton. And then in the start function, we are going to create a room name, which is a room plus random dot range. So we are going to set our room name to room plus whatever number there is, and then the room size the default room size is going to be 10, and then we are just going to get connected with the Photon server. So to get connected with the Photon server, you need to type in this photon network dot connect using settings. So with this we are going to we are going to connect to the Photon server, and after we get after this function, we are going to go over to the Unity is going to take us to the update function, and in the update function we are going to take a look over this if statement. And inside of this if statement, at first we are checking if whether our network is ready to use. If the Photon network is connected and ready, that is, if we are checking that if the player is ready and connected to the server, then only going to go for that is. But in this condition we have put a not in front of it, so then what we are going to do is we are going to check if the answer is false. And if the answer is false, we are going to do is what we are going to do is we are going to set the connecting button dot set active true, battle button dot set active false, and master server timer equals to 6. So basically what we are doing is, this is going to be false when we are not connected, guys. So with that said, we are going to set our server timer to 6 again, and then we are just going to make a battle button dot set active to false. And because why we are setting this battle button to false, because we don't want a game to have any kind of glitches. So to avoid this glitches, what we are going to do is we are going to set our battle button to off, and instead we are going to display another button which is going to be connecting button. It is going to show our player that the game itself is connecting to the server, so it might take some time for you to load up. So with that said, master server timer is going to go back to 6, and then in the else if statement we are checking if the Photon network dot is connected and ready. And once it is connected and ready, we are going to go inside of it, and we have got another conditional statements inside of it. It is if and else. Now in the if, we have written over master server timer less than equal to 0. So if the master server timer is less than equal to 0, it is going to, what master server timer actually does for our game is, it is going to, once the player is disconnected from the server, it is going to check make the timer to 6. And if the time if the game, if the player itself is connected to the server for this amount of second, this amount of time, then we are going to set our battle button to true and connecting button to false, and else we are going to decrease it with time, so that our timer is been decreased with time. So with that said, guys, we have created an override function which is actually a Photon function. So as you can see, I have included a region. Basically you could also include a region. Region actually enables you to just minimize those stuffs which is encoded between that region. So as you can see, this Photon engine, it is a kind of a Photon engine which is not Photon engine, sorry, I am just confused. Okay, it's not a Photon engine, but rather it is a kind of a Photon function. So let's take a look over the Photon functions. So what this function does: public override void on connected to masters. So once the player is connected to master, it is going to sync our player automatically to the scene. What is the syncing basically does? What this syncing does: so when a player is connected to the other player's game, other player's room, the automatical sync scene is going to make sure that you are running the same scene that player is running as well. So what we are going to do, suppose the player X has created a game using the scene 1, level 2, of course, level 2, and then you are also having level 1 and 2 into your game. So what that sync is going to make sure that you both have got connected to the same scene if the player 2, that is player Y, is connected to the player X room. So this is what it makes sure. Okay guys, so this on room list update is the function which is going to update our list of the room, which is going to be displayed over the find room menu. So the next comes the on join room. So on join room, we are going to make sure that we are loading the scene which the current room has. Remove room listing is going to just remove all of the room which is been displayed on the find room. So if you want to refresh the list of the room, then we are going to at least remove all of this room, and then we are going to just display those room again. So this is where we are going to use this room remove listing. So you could just copy it, and then comes the list room. So list room is going to list all of the room which is available over the server. So this is how we are going to do. And but the condition here comes as room dot is open. So if the room should be open for the player and the room is visible. So if the visibility is true, or you can say if it is not private, then we are going to see that room, or else we are not going to see that room. And the create room button, this is the function which we are going to use for the create room button. So this button is going to just create a room for us with a name and a size. And now comes the on room changed name. So this is a function which we are going to use for our for naming our room. And then comes the join lobby on click. Join lobby on click is basically a button function when where if we click a button, if we click the room button, we are going to just directly going to join that lobby. And then comes the room size function. This room size function is going to make sure that the size is we are going to create we are going to actually put on the size in the room. And then comes the map selection button. Map selection button is actually used for the selection of the map, but we are not going to use this function, so let's just comment it out. So yeah, that's it guys. So this is it for the lobby controller. And then comes the room button. You need to create this room button function as well. So this is going to make sure that you have created all of those. When the room is created, you are just going to be displayed the name and the size of the room in the find room button, in the find room menu. So this is where we are going to just create this, and this is the function, this is actually the script which is going to be attached to our room listing prefab. So that's it guys. So now let's take a look over our designing part of our game. So we are now going to just design the main menu for our game. So go, okay, I just by mistakenly click on the premiere, so I just need to turn the premiere off. Okay, cool. So now what we are going to do is just create another scene, and the scene name would be, okay, where is the scene, here it is. So the scene name would be the main menu, and after clicking on the main menu, just click on the main menu and create a canvas. So a canvas has been created. And okay, for the camera, let's make it a solid color. Go to the lighting, okay, not lighting, sorry, instead of skybox, make it solid color and make it somewhat visible color so that it is easy to see. Okay, white is good. So with that said, go to the canvas and create an empty game object which is going to be main stuff. So here we are, and we click on the 2D, but click on the main stuff, then maximize the size of the canvas. Then we are going to create two buttons. So first of all, to create the button, we need to just import, okay, this is text mesh pro, so that we are ready to go. Cool. So now what you have to do is go back here in the main stuff, and inside of it you need to create a button which is going to state a pedal. So we are just going to create a button. Okay, it's okay, by mistakenly I just create a text mesh pro, so instead we are going to create a button. So button name would be battle btn, and inside of this button we are going to type in pedal. So that's it guys. Just take this button and okay, let it be in the center right now because this is only just for the understanding purpose. So now we need to create another button. Okay, instead of making it a button, let's make it an image. Okay, so just find an image. This is going to be image, and here the sprite would be, I guess, this one. Okay, just okay, cool. Now inside of this image, just get it done. Inside of the image, add a text. It should be connecting. Okay, this is white. Bring it to the center and make it black. Decrease the size. Great. Click over to the canvas, and from constant pixel size make it to scale with screen size, and now we are ready to go. So rename it as connecting btn. And now the thing which we are going to do is we are going to just set both of this button off, and then we are going to create another empty game object and name it as lobby controller. Lobby controller. Now you need to add a lobby controller. So here it is. So now we are going to do is insert this battle button here and insert this connecting button here. So now just hit the play button and you would observe some changes. So as you can see, it is connecting because our game is not connected yet, and once it is connected, we are going to be able to see that battle button. So let's wait for it. Okay, as you can see, we just got a battle button, but it is not going to function because we have not added an on click event. So now that part is running fine. Now what you have to do is just once we hit the this button, we are going to just observe another scene which is going to be find and create menu. This is going to be our another menu, of course. So now inside of this menu, just okay, make sure it is wide. Okay, anchor it is to stretch on the both of the axis, and then inside of it you are going to create two buttons, which is going to be, first button is going to be for the create room, and the second button would be for the find room. So this is going to be create room, and rename it to create room btn. And the next thing which we need to do is just duplicate it and make it find room btn, and inside of it you are going to type in find room. So yeah, these both buttons are set. Drag it, okay, 1 minute. Okay, drag this up, which is the create, and the find room should be just below it. So as you can see, we have just dragged all of them. Now again there would be a functionality. So for the battle button, what we are going to do is we are going to add an event and make sure that this is going to be set active. So set active to true, and we are going to just disable this main thing, which is going to be this. So set active to false. So now let's see if it is working fine. Just disable this part and just enable this part. This is already enabled. So just click on this play button, and then let's take, it might take some time to just load this battle button, and let's wait for it. Okay, now we are connected. Now hit the battle button, and as you can see, we have got these two button options. So now with that said, what you have to do is inside of the, we need to edit this part. So just enable it and disable this part. So here in the create button, we need to do this one more, create an empty game object and make it create room menu. So we have created a create room menu. So now inside of it, just stretch it. The anchor should be stretched, and then what you have to do is inside of it you need to just type in the name of the room, and that's it. So just what you have to do is just go over here, and there's going to be input text mesh pro. So first of all, just disable this part, and here we are going to just drag this up here, right there, and okay, now you need to create a text, which is going to be this text, and decrease the size from 36 to, I guess, 12. 12 is quite small, and just make it 20. Okay, so bring it to the center, and this number is going to be 10 for default. So just decrease the size of it and drag it right there. And again, what you are going to do is, here is going to be your room type. You are going to type in your room name, and here is the size. So this would be the size of the room. So to make sure you have a correct size, what you have to do is just create some buttons. So I would create an empty game object, and it is going to be a room btns, room size btns, and we are going to add a horizontal layout group. So what this layout group is going to do is, it is going to just set on my buttons in this inside of this game object, and it is going to sort them up into horizontally. So just go inside the UI and create another button, which is going to be this, and decrease the size of this and name it as 1. Write it over here as, I guess, 8, and then just duplicate this button and duplicate it. So this is going to be 2, and this is going to be, so this is going to be 3. Here we go. Now we also need to change the text as well. This is b2, this would be 1, and this is going to be, okay, not 1 2 3, it is going to be 10 8, and of course 10 9 and 8. So just type it again. Here we go. So this would be our room size, and with that said, just here, this would be the room name, guys. So what you have to do is just go over here, and in the on value change, just add that event, and then again we need to add one more, and just drag this lobby controller on and edit. So what this is going to basically do is, it is going to change when we change the value inside of this text box. What the unit is going to do is, it is going to actually trigger this function. Which function is it? Then it is going to be on room change. So whenever we change the room name, it is going to update it, guys. So here we are going to do it as well. So which is going to be on room change. This is going to be on room change again. So the next thing which we need to do is, this is going to be our room size, guys. So what we want to do is, whatever size we are, okay, so what to change the room size, what you have to do is add an event on these three buttons, which just drag this lobby controller, and inside of the function just type in room size. And for the first button we are going to set the room size to 8, and for the next one we are going to set it for the 9, and for the third one we are going to set it 10. So now with that said, guys, what you have to do is just turn this off, and main stuff is going to be on. So with that said, guys, one more thing which we need to do is go inside of the script, which is the lobby controller, open it up. It might take some time to open, but that's fine. Great, guys, so now script is ready to edit. So one thing which we need to do is, we need to go over here and check what is the name of the room changing. So what you have to do for that is, basically go over here inside of that function where we are changing the room name, which is going to be the room on room change, on room name change. Where is that function? Just find that out. Here it is. Now what we are going to do is basically print that name inside of our Unity console. Okay, it shouldn't be string. Here we are going to print the name and go back to the editor, and what we are basically going to do is hit the play button, and let's check if it is working. So now it is showing connecting. After a while it is going to be it is going to show us that battle button, and as you can see, I hit the battle button, I hit the create button, but create button is not working because we have not set anything for our create button. So what you have to do is, inside of the find and create room menu, you have to add an event, two event basically, which is going to be, first one is going to just turn this off, and the second one is going to turn this on. So go back here and just hit the play button again, and now after a while the battle button would be ready. So make it from free aspect to this landscape for now. Okay, battle, create. I'm going to change my room name. It is going to be this. So let's check the console. Okay, currently it is off because it is not showing anything. Room size is okay. The rooms panel of lobby has not been assigned. Okay, we need to assign this, but the value is not changed yet. So let's take a look why it has not changed yet. So turn this off, go back to the script, and let's check it out. Why didn't it change itself? So okay, first of all, the error was when we were clicking this button, we were actually creating a room size, guys. So okay, go back here, and this is going to be a join room. So room size, we need to edit the room size. So for that okay, one more thing, click on this, double click on this room size and check where this is going. So as you can see, we are unable to find this room size. The third reference, we are not getting the third reference. Where it might have been. Okay, here is the third reference way, and when we create the room, we are getting this third reference. So what basically we want to do is, we want to change the room size, guys. So here as you can see, set room. Okay, when you create a room, you are setting it to this things. So one last thing which we need to do is control K C. Okay, one more thing, control K C. Okay, yep, you need to just cross this up, and now just type it again, control K C. And what we are going to do here is, we are going to change the room name equals to, okay, not here, of course, sorry, I just forgot about it. Here, control K C, and room size is going to be our size. So now with that said, what you have to do is, okay, you also need to change the room name, guys. So what basically you are going to do is there could be a text and input field where you are going to change the text. So type in public text. Okay, it's an input field. Room name, input field. So get down here inside of this function, I guess. Where is that function? On room change, of course, here it is. So what basically you are going to do is you are not going to take in the string, but instead get, okay, input field dot change on change event dot txt. Okay, it's not txt dot okay, basically just remove this up. You are changing it for to the room name. So what is going to happen here? Go back into the script. Now you will be able to set the room name and room size, I guess, because of course we have not made any changes to this because I am not used to this input field as well. So okay, here I am getting a string. So let's try to just see what happens when we uh, try to write anything inside of the field. So let it get ready. So once the battle button is visible, we are going to do what we want to do, or you can say we are going to test the things up. So okay, cool. Battle button is ready now. Click on that battle button, create, and if we change it, as you can see, we are unable to get anything. We are unable to get our text changed, guys. So we don't know the reason. So let me just check it out. What is the current error? Sorry guys for wasting your time, but I found out the error at last. So what we need to do is just remove that string part from here, and then basically what you have to do is just type in this thing, this statement, room name equals to room name if.txt.toString. If you have not created a variable of tmp input field, then you are going to get an error if you type this now variable name. So what basically you have to do is go to the top and create this one right there, which is public tmp underscore input field room name ip. And to make it possible, what you have to do is just write a namespace here using tmpro if you have not written already, and then just save the script, go back to the editor, and now you are going to see a name change. Name is going to change when you type in. So just hit the play button and then let it get some time to connect to the Photon server. And once it is connected, okay, hit pair current. This is going to be your name. Okay, I don't know why. Okay, yeah, since we were not printing it, the error is going to stay because we are not printing anything. So just come here. For debugging purpose, I'm going to show you that it is working fine. Okay, so here is our room name. Hit save button, go back to the editor. Okay, close it up and just play it again and let it get some time to connect. I'm sorry to waste your time because this is how it's worked, guys. So you have to wait for it. Hit the button and now you are going to type a name. So as you can see in the console, you are getting the name which you have written inside of the here input field, which is ADASDATASD. So we have successfully created a room name change functionality. This is going to be cool, guys. So now the next thing which we need to do is go over here and change the color of the room size which has been displayed to black. And then one last thing, go to the lobby controller and add this text right there. So that's it. What you have to do is now we need to create. Now we have already created a create menu button, but one last thing which remains is we need to create a button. So just put this on, and this button is basically going to create the game for us, create a room for us. Okay, 1 minute. Yeah, cool. select this, uh, type the name as create room tn, and here you are going to type in create room, and text should be black, make it black. Go here, add a not add a component, sorry, uh, add an on click event, drag this lobby controller, and inside of the lobby controller we need to find create room button. So this is create room button, a function, sorry. Hit save, go to the build settings and add your level, which is this current main menu level. Remove this sample, go to the scene and drag level 1 as well. So with that said, what you have to do is go back here, save the stuffs, and need to see which level we are creating. So go back to the this and let's check it out. On create room button has been going to be hit, and we need to just get to a certain scene. So let's try to hit that button up. So put this off, hit play button, and let's see what happens. So let it get some time to load, that is to connect with the Photon server. And once it is connected, button has been displayed. Create room, change the name, size should be 9 or 10. It is not changing here, we are going to make it changes to that, and we hit the create button. So as you can see, we just load up our scene, guys. So with that said, we have actually created a room online over the server, and we are ready to go. So the next thing which we need to do is we need to add certain functionalities. So go inside of this in the lobby controller script, we are going to change that room name to the room, okay, that current size. So what we are going to do is room size text. Okay, where we are using this room size text, let me check it out. Okay, there is no reference, only single reference, we are not using it. So go over here and type in room size text, dot set text is going to be our room size dot to string, and now we would be able to change our room name, so array room size. So just control X set here and go over to the create room size button, and we are going to just add this functionality right there, okay, just below where we are changing the room size. So now go back to the editor and hit the play button, and you would be able to see that change going to work fine, which we made earlier, just now, that is. Okay, so let it take some time to just connect. Okay, hit battle create and change it to 9, 8, 10. As you can see, the text over here has been changing when we click on the different buttons. So this is nothing but your room size, and just hit that play button again, so to stop the editor from playing. And with that said, guys, we are done creating our create menu button. Okay, create menu, create room menu. Of course, I was not able to just speak about it. Okay, so next thing which we need to do is create a panel. Okay, instead of creating a panel, what you can basically do is just create an empty game object and just stretch it in both of the direction, x and y axis, and then just game object, instead of game object, make it find room menu. Instead of the find room menu, what you have to do is basically create another thing which is going to be your scroll view. Inside of the scroll view, we are going to display the rooms which would be available online. So what basically you have to do is just drag it right there. We don't want to see any horizontal scroll bars. We don't want to see any scroll bars. So what we are going to do is just remove the scroll bars. So inside of this, what you have to basically do is in the horizontal scroll bar, you just need to remove it and make it not, okay, it's not that thing. Okay, go over here. Okay, it's not disabling it, I don't know why. Turn this off, go to the viewport and let's check it out. Content. Okay, go again to the scroll bar. What I'm doing, I also don't know. Elastic, viewport, scroll. Is it scroll view? 1 minute, guys. I think we just made something. Okay, it's scroll view only. Okay, there are certain changes made here. uh that's the reason why I am unable to check it, guys. So as you can see, or hide. Okay, okay, cool. Horizontal scroll bar to none, and this also to none. Okay, I guess now we would be able to see it more perfectly. This is your content, and we are going to add here in the UI. Okay, fitter, content size fitter. We are going to add a content size fitter preferred size, and then what we are going to do is basically just add here a button. But before adding a button right there, what you have to do is just inside of the view content. Okay, inside of the content you need to add one more thing, which is going to be your vertical layout group. And you are not going to set the height for it, but in the middle center, or you can say upper center. And now you are going to create a button inside of it, and as you could see, it is fitting perfectly fine. So I suppose this content is not perfect. So what you have to basically do is just click on this content. Okay, 1 minute. I think something is wrong. 1 minute, guys, and we are going to stretch it out. Okay, cool. So with that said, guys, what you have to do is hit this content size to on. Because it is horizontal, it has got no that. Now again do it one thing, which is going to be stretch it out. And now if we create a button right there, you are going to see a cool thing. As you can see, it is working fine. So now the last thing which we need to do is, okay, content size is this much, button is this much. Okay, click on this content size and control size width. Okay, this width is going to be as well. And once we go on increasing the button, it is going to just fit it. And as you can see, it is just scrolling and scrolling. You would be able to scroll. So hit the play button, and let's see if the changes is made change. As you can see, you could just scroll down. So now we need to add some space between those buttons, so just delete all of these buttons. It's such a mess. Okay, I just deleted all of this button. So inside of the scroll view, what you have to do is inside of there, you need to make it elastic, of course. Inertia, scroll sensitivity, okay, scroll declaration, horizontal scroll bar, vertical scroll bar, viewport, show mask. Why am I unable to restrict the scrolling between this and this? I don't know. I think something has changed, guys. So do one thing, just turn this off and hit the play button again. Okay, okay, make some duplications and try to scroll it. As you can see, we are able to scroll it, but okay, we want to restrict the scroll. I think they have made certain changes, but I am okay, this is it. So we don't want to scroll it horizontally, but rather we want to scroll it vertically. So we are going to uncheck this horizontal checkbox, and now if you would check it, we would be able to just drag it on the horizontally. So you are just going to drag it vertically. So with that said, we have created our content. So now the next thing which we need to do is, okay, one last thing, we want to see that horizontal scroll bar. And the last thing which we need to do is here. Okay, it is good. We need some spacing. So what you have to do is add a padding to 5 on the both the sides and 5 on top, 5 on bottom. It is looking good. So add a spacing of 5, bottom would be 0, and as you can see, we have got some space as well. So now inside of the content, what you have to do is just remove all of these other extra buttons and rename this button to room listing prefab. And one last thing which we need to do here is, okay, add a function which is going to be room button, and you need to add to text here. So just take this text and align it to the left side and create another text. This is going to be the room name, and this is going to be the room size. So align this to the right side, and room size make a sample of 10, and room name make a sample as room double triple nine. So with that said, click on this and drag this TMP and default room name and room size. We don't want to edit it anymore. So what we are going to do basically is when we hit this create button, we are going to go to the lobby controller, or instead let's try to make this room button and just hit set room join lobby on click. So we are going to add a join room on click now function here inside of this, and now we need to just remove this. But before removing it out, what you have to do is basically go here in the asset and let's create a folder, name it as prefab, and inside of the prefab folder what you have to do is basically, I hope we have not already created a prefab folder. Of course we have not created it. So take this button and drag it inside of the prefab folder. Just delete this content right there and go into the lobby controller. Okay, select this content. This is going to be your room panel, and your button is going to be this, the prefab, and just hit the click button. But you are going to enable this find room button when you are ready. So when you are clicking this find room button, so what you have to do basically is add two of them. So in the first one just set active to false, and the other one, which is going to be the find room, is going to be on. Set active, okay, sorry, okay, I can just got it to set active to true. And one last thing guys, sorry, I'm just again and again repeating the one last thing, but yeah, I want to just cover as much as I can in this lecture, because in the next lecture we are going to take a look over the scene synchronization and player synchronization. So okay, with that said, write it as refresh btn. Okay, I just misspelled it. Btn it is going to be, and drag it down just below this, scroll view, rename it as refresh, and again we are going to add an on click event right there inside of the refresh btn. Click here, lobby controller. Here what we are going to do is, here you might be finding that refresh button. If you're unable to find that refresh button, what you have to do is basically there must be a function, because we have created, I think so, we have created room name change. Okay, we need to create that function as well. So guys, let's create a room refresh button. So go inside of the script, which is this lobby controller, and type in here a public void and room size. Sorry, not room size, it's going to be room refresh. Extremely sorry guys. And now you are going to type in photon network dot live lobby, and then you are going to again join on click. You are going to just call this join lobby on click function, and go back here inside of this unity, and on the refresh button you need to select that function, which is the room refresh. So now basically what you are going to do is, we need to also add one more button, which states exit. So create, again instead just duplicate this button and type in exit btn and rename it to exit, anchor it to the lower right corner, and drag it a bit in the upper direction, and click here, add two events. First is going to be, we need to disable this guys, so click here, game object, it's going to be, and disable it. And the next thing which we are going to do is main stuff is going to be put to on. So with that said guys, what you have to do back again is, you need to create again another exit button inside of this. So okay, control Z it, turn this off, create room menu should be on, and here in the just duplicate this create button, I guess, yes, drag it in the lower direction, lower y-axis, in the negative y-axis, then just select one more, create one more, remove this, add one more, and add this, set this to false, and get it here, and set this to on. Okay, it's not find, of course, it's going to be main. Sorry, it's going to be true. So now let's test it if it is working. Find room won't be able to test in this lecture, but in the next lecture we are going to test it because we want to just have a solid foundation. We want to build up a game. So in the next lecture, what you have to do basically is, the task for you is to go into the build settings and just build a PC version of this game, and then we would be testing that game in the first place, and then we are going to be starting up with our player setup, guys. So in the next lecture, you already heard what you have to do, and so then we would be able to start the add a functionality of summoning a player inside of the level. So stay tuned. So this last thing which we need to do was just test this if the exit button is working. As you can see, it is working. Again, I hit it, I hit this exit again. So one last thing which we need to do is, here you are going to type in as exit ptm, and instead of create room, we are going to type in exit. So with that said, guys, we are done for this lecture. So goodbye. It is working, whether the find room is working or not, and then we are going to create player or level managers. With that, what we are going to do is, we are going to spawn different players at different positions, so that every player are there have got their desired location, and then they would be able to play the game, guys. So what you have to do basically is that, I told you in the last lecture, you need to build up your project. So first of all, just go to the build settings and then hit the build button. It is going to ask you for creating a folder, and then just create it. And then after the build is done, what you have to do is double click 2 times. You need to open that application 2 times, so that you would be able to play it. Okay, so this one is going to be ready. I have got, as you can see, I've got 2 versions of it, not 2 versions, but the two, it is running 2 times. So what you have to do is create and write room name as, I guess, let's make it UGT. UGT is my company's name. So 9 here, I create the room. It got me a room created for me. The next is going to be find rooms, and if I hit the refresh button, you are going to get a room which is UGD, and the size was 9. So just click on that and you will be again able to join it. But yeah, now you are not seeing that whether you joined this room or not. So what you have to do is, for that we are going to create a level manager script inside of that level. So what you have to do is basically go back into the scene folder, and then you have to open up this level underscore 1 scene. So what you have to do is just create an empty game object, transform it to the reset the positions, and then what you have to do is just type in here the name as level manager instead of the game object. And then what you have to do is, inside of the script folder, you have to create a script name as level manager. And then after creating the the script of the name level manager, just open it up, and now we are going to just type in some code. So let's get started. So first of all, what we are going to do is, we need to import a unity, not unity, but photon.pun namespace, and then we are going to make this mono behavior for mono behavior to mono behavior pun callbacks. And then what you are going to do is just create a variable of this. It's not basically a variable, but a singleton. So this is going to make sure that there is only one instance of the level manager in the whole scene, and not the duplicates of it exist anymore. So now we are going to create another thing, which is going to be the list of game objects, and it is going to be our bot, sorry, not bot, our player. We are not going to have a list because we only have a single player in our game. We don't have any kind of multiple players. So here we are. So here comes the player. Okay, again I typed in the bot player, and okay, so now what you have to do is just type in internal game object local player. There is no need to create this game object, but for the future purpose you have to create it. And then we are going to create another game object, which is going to be our player. Okay, don't create this one. type in here public transform list game object, and this, it's not a game object, and the transform should be inside of it, and this is going to be swan point, so where the player is going to be swan. So here we are going to set in as a new list transform, and good to go. So now we are going to create a function which is going to be the start function. Inside of the start function you are going to create a singleton which is alarm.this, and after that what you have to do is okay, we need to add a player prefab. Okay, player prefab, we are going to set this player prefab to, I guess, player. Then we are going to check if bun player. Okay, 1 minute, we need to create one more script which is going to be a bun player manager. So to do that what you have to do is go back to the editor and let it take some time to compile. Okay, once it is done compiling you have to just create a script name bun player manager, and now you have to edit that script, so just open it up. Okay, so get me some time. So this is how your player manager is going to look, bun player manager is going to look. So this is what you have to type inside of your that script. So okay, so take the script which is going to be your bun player manager. Okay, so now what you have to do is basically you won't be having this script because I just created an early game using this. I don't want to just retype it again, all of that code. So I would just do one thing, which is going to copy this all code and just paste it right there. Okay, I don't want to just make my work go on and on. This is Cinemachine. I'm going to just remove the Cinemachine. I don't need anymore. Okay, so one last thing which we need to do is add a photon. Okay, it's going to be photon.bun namespace, and with that said we need to make this to bun callbacks from mono behavior, and yeah, remove this up and good to go. So okay, one more thing guys, what we are going to do is we are going to get a reference to our camera with the script. So let's take a look over that player prefab. This is our player, and let's take a look over here. The camera is our second child object. So what you have to do here is create, okay, instead of creating it, if this is going to be our photon view.isMine, if this is the local player, then what we are going to do is game object dot transform dot get component, which is going to be the, okay, it's not get component, sorry, it's get child. It's going to be 2 dot game object dot selected to false. Okay, not false, it's going to be true, and else it is going to be false. So with that said, what you have to do is go back inside of this here, and then just inside of the player what you have to do is just turn this camera off and then just override the prefab. And now I'm going to explain you what this is. Basically, this photon view is a component which you need to add inside of the player, which is going to be swan in the scene, so that it is to make sure that it is the main reason behind. This is the thing, this is the photon view, which is going to help you synchronize your movement, synchronize your values, synchronize your function. This is only going to and with this you can also identify your local player, the system's local player. So now while playing a multiplayer game, there are certain instances made. So suppose I am creating a room, I am going to create that room, and then if you join that room, what you are going to see is you are just going to see a duplicate version of that of my scene. So we are not basically syncing those players, but we are rather syncing those player scripts. We are actually syncing the game objects which is situated inside of that scene. So now I am player 1, which is on the swan position A, and now you are a player B, which is on the swan position B. So what is going to happen is when you are swan into the room, that this part, this one player manager is going to swan that player, the player which is swan into game into swan point B, because you are in the swan point B into your scene. So this is how the syncing is done, the synchronization is done, and this is called as RPG. Not RPG, sorry, RPC functions. This all are just there are tons of things which you need to do, which you need to study, and not all of it could be covered while creating a simple game. So you, if you want to just go dive in deeper, what you could do is basically go over to the photon engine, and you are going to get a document over there, and you could understand the basics of it. So that's it guys from my side. But yeah, there is never end for learning, there is no end for learning, so you just need to keep on learning and learning. You need to keep on learning new things. So this is how you just progress into your career. This is how you make progress into your career, and that's it guys. So go to the level manager again, and now what we are going to do is we are going to just type in here if fun, here was a long one. So local player instance equals now it is going to make sure that there is no local player, and if it is no local player, then sp index is going to be random dot range. It is going to swan a player, swan points dot count, and it is going to take up a random instance, and then var is going to make sure that it is going to just it is going to select a type for itself automatically. So instance it is going to be this dot player prefab. Okay, it's going to be player, I guess. Yep. Okay, instead make it, okay, let's make it player prefab, and then what you are going to do is we are going to just swan it into the swan points position, swan sp index. Okay, sp index dot position, just outside of it, position comma quaternion dot identity. And with that said guys, we are done writing our script. Okay, so dot name, you need to type in dot name, because the this photon network is going to instantiate the scheme object using our instance name, our prefab name, and then what you have to do at last is you need to type in the group. It is going to be 0 by default guys, so just make it 0. If you don't type it, that's no problem guys, but yeah, so make sure you just do it. Go back to the script, level manager is ready, player prefab. Okay, you need to add some few components inside of it, which is first, which is going to be the photon view. The next one is going to be our, I guess, pawn player manager, and okay, just override it. And with that said guys, the next thing which we need to do is here, save this, and okay, good until now, and just go back here, save the script, and inside of the asset you need to create a folder, name it as resources, and inside of the resources what you have to basically do is just go and grab that prefab, which is this player, and inside of the resource just drag it right there. Just delete this game object, click on the level manager and add a level manager component, and now you are going to get it right there, and just double click on the environment, so you just focus over that on the spot. And now you need to create some swan points, so this is going to be a swan points game object, and now just reset the transform and just still create one more empty game object inside of it, and as you can see it is right there, right here, it is right there, and get it right here. And what you are basically going to do is check it if it is spawning perfectly. Okay, I would just reset the position. Okay, so game object it should be 1, I guess. Okay, cool. So just delete this game object. This is going to be 1, and again just name it as spawn point. Control D it, Control D it, Control D it, Control D it. Now go to the level manager, lock this up, take all of the spawn points and just drag it inside of the list. And now check the list if it has got all of them. Yeah, it has got all of them. And just save this level, go back into the scenes folder and open up the main menu. Just hit the play button and let it connect. So it might take some time to connect, guys. Okay, cool. Create, type your name, create button. Okay, no display for the camera. Okay, as you can see, we have actually created a swan, a game object right there, but it is not enabling the, because fun player is off. Okay guys, just go back into the resource folder, take a look over there, fun is on. Go take a look right there, what is happening. Put the fun player manager and is is mine. The thing is here right there, load to the level manager, player prefab, local instance equals to none. Okay, cool guys, we are good to go. What is that problem? I don't know guys. Okay, cool. So basically we have added a photon view, so there should be no kind of error. And what is this error? Let's check it out. So double click on that, and as you can see, this is the level which we are getting right now. So find game object with tag level manager. So we are okay, this is the thing which we need to I just forgot about it, because since we directly copied that code, we didn't do it. We need to create a tag of name level manager, so that it is going to get a reference to the level manager once the player is swan into the scene. So just go and click on this final level manager and add this level manager tag over here. Go back to the main menu scene and just hit the play button of the editor and let it take some time to connect. Hit battle, create, type in any name, create button. As you can see, we spawned out a player. We can run over inside of the game, and with that said, we are good to go guys. So this is how we have created a synchronization. Now what we have to do is in this lecture we need to add some synchronization. So I think we could be able to do that in the next lecture, but before that what you have to do is let's test this out, that whether there are two players spawning when you are playing two, when there are two players in the same room. So just build this game inside of this clone. Okay, I have got myself a clone folder. You have to get yours, so it might take some time, so let me just skip this part. Okay, welcome back guys. So the build is ready now. So what we can do is just open it up. Okay, 1 minute guys. There should be two versions running. Okay, battle, create of 8, create room. As you can see, I've got one player here, and go to the other game, battle, find room, refresh it. Okay, it's not refreshing, I don't know why. To do one thing, battle, create it. Okay, 9, create room. It's creating. Okay, cool. So let's remove this version because that game is not working. We didn't got the room of it. Sometimes you get this kind of error, so you just need to make sure that the things are working fine. So here we are going to do it again. This is the other version. So let it connect. Okay, connect, find room, refresh. As you can see, SATA 9, this was the latest one. Click on this. As you can see, two players has been swapped. The synchronization is off. That's the reason why it is not working properly, and they both just swan onto the same position guys. So that's the reason why it was not working. So as you can see, we are able to swan the players. So now what you have to do is just close this up In the next lecture, we are going to discuss. We are going to just synchronize our player movement and make sure that all things work fine, guys. So just stay tuned. Today we are going to just synchronize our player movement. So what you have to do for synchronization is basically go over to the resource folder. Inside of that, you are going to find your player character and just add some components, which is going to be a transform view. Instead of classic, you need to just drag in view and just scale it right there. The next thing which we are going to do is rigid body, photon rigid body view. Okay, so now what you have to do is synchronize everything, enable teleport for large distance, and that's it. So now just add here in the photon view and just drag it right there. And the next thing which we need to do is add a synchronization for animator, photon animation animator view. So here what we are going to do is this continuous, make it continuous. This is going to be also continuous, and this is also going to be continuous instead of like discrete. And then just add one more into the photon view and just drag it right there. And then the next thing which we need to do is inside of the script folder, inside of the player controller, what you have to do here is you need to make sure that it is a photon view. So what if it is a local pair? So what you have to do is if photon view dot is mine, then it's not mine, then what we are going to do is game object dot get component, which is the player controller dot enable equals to false. So it is going to make sure that if the player control is off, it is not going to if this is not the local pair, it is not going to make it on. That's it, guys. So if it is not a local pair, this script is going to be off, and if it is a local pair, it is going to be true. So now just save it and go here in the file and build settings, build another version of the game, let it take some time to build. Okay, it's building up, come on, make it fast. Okay, cool. So this was quick. Open it up, open this both games, and here we are going to make sure that we have got two instance running of this game. It is connecting, and okay, hit battle, create. Okay, 10 create. Okay, here we have one scene, and go to the battle, find, refresh. We got this, just did it. Now you would be having two players. As you can see, there is one player and there is another. And now if we just go here and escape and have a take a look over here, this is going to be this game, and as you can see, the displacement is happening. So here I'm just dragging my player right there, and if we take a look inside of this game, as you can see, that player is cornered. So our synchronization is working fine, but we are unable to see it because we need to just adjust this room window size. So to do that, what you have to do is just hit this off. There was a certain setting for this to set out the resolution for your game at the start, but that the Unity has already deprecated it from this editor. So now we have not got that setting anymore. So we just need to find another way to just resolve to make it make it windowed, and we are going to make it around 520 to 520 divided by 2. So that's it. Hit cross, build settings. Okay, that would be the game. Now we are building a game. Okay, that was quick. Open it up, open to instance of this game. As you can see, it is now very small, but yeah, that's fine. Okay, let it take some time to load. Hit battle game, true, and create. Hit battle, find room, refresh it. We got the room, and as you can see, now we are going to find our player. As you can see, the synchronization is working over right there inside the player. As you can see, the player is moving, that right side is we are moving, and the player the effect is being watched over to the next game instance. So as you can see, synchronization is working. So now in the next lecture, what we are going to do is we are going to just create or spawn some bullets so that we could hit our other player in the game, and then that we could hit the other player, and then we make sure that the health of that player is synchronized and the health goes down. So in the next lecture, we are going to take a look over the burn RPC functions, which is used to pass the message from one instance of the game to the other. So stay tuned, guys. Create a bullet if a projectile. So in this lecture we are going to add a functionality so that a player can shoot bullet in the game. So what you have to do for that is just go inside of the player controller script, and here we are going to add certain conditional statements, which is going to be if input dot player, it's not player, sorry, get mouse button 0. Then what we are going to do is we are going to instantiate a object inside of this. So here we are going to type in serialize. It is going to be the bullet, of course. So what you have to do is type in private game object and bullet. So what you have to do basically is you need to add one more. Okay, that should be the burn player. So now what you have to do is the inside of this, what you have to do is var, or instead make it game object and make it bullet. Okay, not bullet because we are already using that word. So instead of bullet, write it p. And now what you are going to do is photon network, type in photon network dot instantiate. So basically there are two types of instantiate. If you are only using mono behavior plugin, sorry, not a plugin, but if you are not using a photon engine plugin, then you are not going to use this this network photon network dot instantiate, and rather if you are going to use this plugin, you need to use it because if you want that when you just instantiate, when you create a bullet in the start of in the game, in the ongoing game, then you have to make sure that that particular bullet is spawned in every duplicate scene, and in all of the games on all of those players mobile or on the PCs or all of those players game instances, so that the bullet has got effect on other scenes as well. So you need to make sure that you are making it globally over the network, instantiated globally over the network, or as if you just type in instantiate, it is just going to instantiate into your particular scene. So make it this bullet dot name, and transform dot position is going to be the muzzle of the bullet, sorry, the gun. Private game object gun mouth, and okay, so this is going to be your game mount, but instead just typing here the game object, you could just reference the transform again. Okay, cool. Now go down there and just type in dot position. It's not going to be transform dot position, but rather it's going to be the weapon mouth. Okay, it's a gun mount, sorry, gun mount dot transform dot position, comma quaternion dot identity, comma 0, and it's saved. And with that, guys, you are going to spawn a bullet in the entire server, over the entire server. So now what you have to do is just go back and let's test this if it is working. So first of all, you need to create a bullet. So for that, just go to the level 1, and now you have to just go inside of the resources folder, drag in the player right there, and you need to take this reference, or you need to create an empty game object for this gun. So inside of this mesh, what you have to do is just find n weapon. So you might get it right in the right arm because the weapon is held over to the right arm of the player. So you are not getting a reference to the gun, but rather you are getting a simple reference. So what you could basically do is just create, okay, this is forearm, right? So okay, this is hand. Okay, inside of the hand you create another game object and just drag it right there inside of the towards the gun mouth. And okay, great. So here we go. This is going to be the position of the, and write the name as weapon, or you can say the gun, mouth, just pronounced as mouth. And now what you have to do is over the player, you just go there and just find in the player controller script, just drag this mouth right there. And now we need to create one more thing, which is going to be the spear. So just spawn a spear inside of it. The spear size would be 0.5, 0.5 and 0.5. So okay, it's still visible, of course it's still visible, but let's make it a bit. Okay, so here we go. I make this 3 as well. Okay, it's not been edited, I don't know why. Okay, just decrease it. Cool. So this is how the spear is going to be. Your bullet. And add one more thing, which is very important, guys, which is going to be your photon view. Then the next thing is going to be the photon transform view. Drag it right there inside of it, and instead of making it a normal collider, make it trigger. Add a tag, which is going to be the bullet. So now click on this bullet and add that tag bullet over it, and then just drag this here right there. Delete this from here, and on the player, find the player controller script, which is right here, and just drag this bullet inside of this. So now just make sure you overwrite this prefab and then just delete it. Now go back to the scenes folder, and you are going to just double click on this main menu and then just hit play button, so that we could be able to test that whether the bullet is working. The spawning program is working fine. Okay, hit battle, create, write room name, create. As you can see, it is spawning, guys, so no need to worry about it. But one thing which remains a problem is that we need to close our cursor, lock our cursor. So cursor dot lock mode lock state is going to equal to cursor lock mode dot locked. That's it, guys, and go back inside of the game, hit save. Okay, thing which we need to do is we need to create another script for our spear, or you can say the bullet, to move forward in the direction in which it is being spawned. So write it as bullet script, double click on that bullet script, create a variable of type float. Name of the variable would be move speed. Default value for that is going to be 0. And then what we are going to do is we are going to transform dot translate vector 3 dot right multiply by time dot delta time multiply by speed. Okay, it's a new speed. Okay, so with that said, guys, what you have to do is go back into the editor and you go to the resource, just click on that bullet and add the script, bullet script, make move to 40, move speed to 40, hit play button and let it get connected to our server. Once it is connected, click on it, create room, type in room name, create room. Cursor is locked. As you can see, it is moving in the right direction. Sorry, it's not moving on to the relative position. Okay, one thing which we could do is go inside of the player controller again, and where you are spawning, you are just making it identity. So instead of making it to an identity, what you have to do is gun mouth dot transform dot local rotation. So we are going to make it to equal to this. Go back to the script, hit play button again and let it run. Okay, create room, okay, Okay, it's actually spawning 3 objects at once. So what is this problem, guys? Okay, let's take a look. Okay, we got one more error. Okay, cool. So one thing which is to be noted is there are n number of objects forming. So what's this problem, guys? It's going to be buttoned down so that it works only once, and it's not going to be local rotation but rather make it Euler angles, not local Euler angle, I guess. Okay, it's quaternion. Okay, make it rotation. Go back here, hit play button again, let it take some time to compile. Okay, sorry, not compile but ready, and let's connect it to the create. Okay, just making us swan in the backward direction, but rather we want to make it go in the forward direction. What you have to do is just instead of breaking into the bullet script, instead of making it to in the plus right, make it in the minus right direction and go back and hit the hit this play button again. Let it take some time to compile. Okay, it's ready. Hit battle, create, and a name 9. Okay, as you can see, our bullet is spawning perfect. So we are ready with our bullet, guys. So now what we need to do is we need to test that bullet into the build version. So what you have to do is go into the build settings, and here into the build setting, create one. It is going to take some time. Let it compile. Okay, the compiling is done. Create 2 instances of this game. Open. I'll let it get some time to compile. Battle, create into this one. Okay, unlock the cursor. Okay, good. So here we just finally got unlock our cursor, make it right there. Okay, the problem was we just spawned onto the same position.
This came back from Google.
Okay, so as you can see, if I click button over here, a bullet is will spawn here. So as you can see, bullet is spawning, but we need to do something about the spawn positions because we don't want our player to be in the same spawning position as that of the other player. So this is a very small error which could be tackled. Of course, there is not a big deal about it. So what you have to basically do is, we don't want our player to basically just fall down, right, guys? So what you could do is double click on the player, and okay, so one thing which could be done here is inside of the project settings, okay, we are going to go for the physics. Okay, great. Let's create one layer which is named as player, and we are going to assign it a player layer. Yes, to child. Go here into the build settings. Okay, not build settings, sorry, into the project settings and find physics. Now what we are going to do is we are not going to let the player collide with the player instance. So just turn this off. So now 2 players won't be having collision between them. So just go back, just cross this up, and let's check it out hands on. So what you can do is just create a scene, go inside of the level 1 and create a cube right there. Default would be change to layer, and just save the scene. Go to the main menu, hit play button. Okay, create, play 10. And now if we just find that cube, where is that cube? We need to, okay, here is that cube. so we won't be able to collide with that cube anymore. As you can see, we are just going through that cube, but we are colliding with the other ones. So this is how we just avoid the collision between two players, so no need to worry about it. So that we have done with it, what you have to do is we need to decrease the health of the player. So what you have to basically do is, if the player pun manager, in here we are going to type in on trigger enter if other, okay, instead just let's make it player controller script. Here we are going to type in on trigger enter function if other dot game object dot tag equals bullet. Then we are going to decrease the health of the player. So create a variable of type integer and health is going to be 100, and instead of making it private, let's make it an internal. And what you are going to do is we are going to just decrease the health of the player. Health minus equals to 1. Okay, not minus equals to 1 but 10. Okay, so we are going to just decrease the health of the player's health, and then in the fixed update function, if health less than equals to 0, then player photon network dot destroy game object. So this is what we are going to do. Basically we are just going to hit the game delete. We are going to remove our player from the game at first. So let's check it out if it works fine, and just go into the build settings. Okay, build settings, build the game. Double click, open to instances. Okay, hit battle button, create 9, create room. Okay, great. So one last thing. Okay, I don't know what just happened. Okay, cool. Hit battle, find room, refresh, join this, find this player. As you can see, I'm hitting that player. Bullet is spawning. If I hit it 10 times, it is going to die. Okay, as you can see, the player got deleted from this scene, but it is not been deleted from this its own game. So we need to synchronize that part. So let's do it. Okay, so no need to worry about it. The synchronization would be very easy. Just close this up. So in the next lecture, what we are going to do is, this is it for this current lecture. In the next lecture, we are going to polish our game further and add a game over functionality. So stay tuned. We are going to do a game over functionality. We are going to put the game over functionality in our game. So what you have to do basically is just go to the scene level 1 underscore level 1. What you have to basically do is, first of all, remove this cube which is right there. I'm just going to delete it. I'm going to save the scene and go again to the scripts folder, and then I'm going to open my script which is pun player manager. But before that, what we have to do is basically so this is what I am going to do is, I'm just going to open this player controller. So instead of the player controller, we have written a script over here which says private void on trigger enter collide or other, and if the bullet is been triggered inside of the player, then it is going to just decrease the health by 10. So what you have to do basically is just cut it from here and just paste it into the pun player manager. So in the pun player manager, we are going to just enter the script, and then we are going to, with this again, we are going to type in photon view dot is mine. It is not going to work because we are not using the pun callbacks. So okay, we are using the, okay, it is working, no problem. So we are just, then only if it is the local player, then only we are going to decrement the health, or else we are not going to do the same. Now the last thing which we need to do is, we can do I would like to show you a sample of how the pun works. pern rpc function works. So what is basically a pern rpc function? A pern rpc function is a function which runs over the server on every game instances. So what you have to do is just type in here pern rpc and then just create a private void. Okay, it's a private void. What should be the name? Health decrement, and this is going to be our function, and here we are just going to decrement the health of the player. So yes guys, we are going to decrement the health of the player. The thing which we are doing over here is we are just going to remove it. Now just type in photon view.rpc, and here we are going to type in health decrement. Just make sure that you are typing the right word, and then we are good to go. So rpc target, we need to choose the target with whether we want to buffer it into the all of the players or over the master client or others. So I would just make it over the all of them. So with that said guys, what you have to do is add a semicolon at the end and just make it, just go into the editor and let it take some time to compile, and then after it gets completely compiles itself, what you have to do is go into the build settings and build up the project guys. So it might take some time according to your system, depend upon your system. It would build the game as soon as possible. So as you can see, my game has been building. Okay, it's taking a time. Okay, so it's done guys. So as you can see, I am done building my game. So I would just open the 2 instance of this game. Okay, here we go. And then what you have to do is basically, you all know guys what we are doing for the testing. You have to just follow the same step again. So yes, let it take some time to compile. Okay, not compile but connect, sorry. It's not connecting. Okay, here we go. So I'm just creating a room. Here I go. But today my net is not working, my Wi-Fi is basically not working that good, so it might be laggy. There might be latency seen inside of the game, I don't know, but yes, there would be some kind of latency. Okay, it's not okay. Here we go. 1 v2 3 4 5 6 7, I don't know how many shots I just hit that guy with, but it's not having any kind of effect. So what is this guys? So okay, there is no effect on this player. So what you can basically do is just close this game instances, and what you have to do is go back here into the script, and okay, let's create a testing purpose canvas. Okay, for that what we are going to do is we are going to create a canvas. Double click on it, go to the 2D mode. Canvas should be the size of the scale with the screen size, and then double click over here and then just create a text right there, and text should be on the top right corner. Here we go, we anchor it on the top right corner, and then just type in here text as dash dash and just align it to the middle in the center, and I'm going to increase the font. Okay, increase the font size to 30. Okay, again 3 is not working. I don't know why. Okay, let me check whether my 3 is working or not. Great. Okay, let's make it 28 rather. Again 28 is also not working. I don't know what the problem is. Okay, what should be the number? It should be 10 20, I guess. Okay, cool. So just make it the font style should be bold, and then we are good to go. So just go back to the script, which is your pun player manager, and what we are basically going to do is we are going to get a text over here. So just type in the namespace unity game engine dot it is UI, and type in here text txt. Here we go. And I know guys that we won't be able to add that text via our scene directly because that player is not already instantiated inside of the game. So what you have to do basically is you need to find the game object of type canvas, and then what you have to do is just follow me guys. I will show you. Find game object or find find object of type, it is going to be the canvas dot game object dot transform dot get child is going to be 0 dot game object dot get component. It is going to be text now, and this is how this is long. This was a very long statement, guys, but yeah, you need to do this. What it is basically going to do is it is going to take a reference to this canvas, and then after finding that that canvas game object inside of the scene, it is going to go over here and just get the child. So get its child, which is the text which we created just now. So what you have to do is right now just create another conditional statement and type in here as for on view dot is mine. Then only if it is a local player, then only we are going to just create this. Then only we are going to just take a reference of that text. Otherwise we are not. So txt dot txt equals to health dot to string, I guess. Yes. So we are going to basically just make a string of it. Okay, one last thing which we need to do is inside of the update function we need to type in that. So open up to create the update function, and here we go. I think I just typed it wrong. And here we go. Create another conditional statement, type in photon view is mine, and then we are just going to paste this right there. And just Control S to save it, and just go back to the Unity editor, and then save the changes, go into the file, build settings, build, and select the folder, and let the editor build your game. It's building up the game. As you can see, it just took no time. Okay, just open it up twice, and then we are just going to let it connect with the Photon server. Okay, here we go. Create. Okay, name should be anything random. I go here, I go find. Okay, I think I just hit the create button, I guess. Okay, I just got disconnected from my game, so basically it is not going to work. As you can see, I think my net is not working properly, but there should be no problem, I guess. Okay, it's showing connecting. I think the server is down right now. Okay, cool. We will continue it after the server is been up, after the server gets up. So just no need to worry. You could test the game. It should work fine. If it is not, I need to test the game first of all. Otherwise, I won't be able to check if it is running fine or not. So just be calm. And this could be a challenge if there is an error, and if it is not working, then this could be a challenge for you, that to find out whether it is working. And the thing which we are currently testing is we need to check that when we are firing the bullets from here, we need to see the other player's screen where the health should be decreasing over here. The decreasing health would be displayed over here, and if the health is not decreasing, the decrementing. If the health is not decreasing, then you have to just find out the possible solution to decrease that health. Otherwise the game is not up and running. So make sure you do that, and until my net is back, I am going to take a break. Welcome back, guys. Now I think now this my net is working fine, so I could just go and open up this game and let it take some time to compile. And okay, it's running. Okay, cool. So here we go. I create one room. I go here. I go inside of this battle here right there, and click on this find room. And okay, I don't know why my mouse is just okay. Cool. So okay. Oh, cool, man. My system just got hanged. Okay, this is because just we are locking our cursor. So as you can see, I just won inside of this game. Now I am going to hit the bullets from this game. The problem is basically because of the cursor. As you can see, the health has been decrementing, health is decreasing, and once we have to add one more logic behind the game, it could work as a challenge for you as well. You could just play the animation of the death animation, but we don't have our player don't have any death animation or dying animation. So what you could basically do is you should just delete the player. So what I'm going to do is, if health less than equal to 0, destroy game object. So this is what we are going to do, and just go to the editor and hit the file button, build settings. Okay, I think something is wrong. Okay, cool. Build. So basically this section was all about how to create a basic multiplayer game, or you could say a basic battle royale game. So this is how you create a game, a multiplayer game in Unity. And so there is no end to learn these new things. You could just learn, and in future of course you are going to learn new multiplayer functionality or plugin which is going to be created by Unity itself, and which is named as dots. So you should just never stop learning and just keep going. This is what at last I want to say to you. But yes, of course, there is always a scope, there is always a future scope, a big scope behind the creating a multiplayer game, because in future the game would be all about multiplayer, because people like to play multiplayer game. They like the game which where they can play with their friends, the game which can be played with their friends. This is what I usually prefer. So yes, you should basically aim your career towards the multiplayer game, according to me. Or you could even just open up, you could even start up your own studio, guys. So as you can see, our health has been decrementing on the other game. So what I am going to do is, okay, hitting it. This is basically, the button is basically not working because of this cursor lock. You need to just take care of it. And the last shot, here you go, the player died, guys. So the synchronization is not working here because I don't know why. I think my net is not working fine. As you can see, I am moving in this game, but I am unable to see moving in that game. So this is because of the net, of course. So yeah, guys, so game is completely complete, I guess. Okay, then I would just prove you how our game is successfully running. So as you were seeing, I was shooting from one instance of the game, and then while I was shooting, the player which I was hitting the bullet, my bullets were being hit on, that player basically died. And why that player dies only if the duplicate, or you can say the only if the original version, only if the local player, if that character, that player's local player was dying. So as you can see, I am only running this function I am running this function if I am the local player, and if I am the local player, then only we are going to die, guys. So that's the reason why, and that was the proof that synchronization was happening. But I don't know why it was not happening in my PC, but it could be happening in yours. I think there was something connection issues with my this Wi-Fi, but yes, it is working, guys. And if you have any doubts, you could just get clear, just get cleared your doubts by, okay, just discussing it by you can discuss your doubts with me, so I could be able to, so I would solve your doubts. And that's it, guys. So this is it for this course, and here comes the end. So I think in the next section I'm going to explain you, or I'm going to show you the future scope, where you can do what you can do with the knowledge you have acquired in this course, guys. So stay tuned.